So today on my desk we have the Phantom from Tekkusai. Now, I've had the opportunity of trying out the Guardian slash the Beast and other glasswork pads. And I would say right now, Tekkusai and Glsswrks is definitely putting out extremely high quality glass mouse pads and some very interesting aspects of them that haven't been explored. Some of them are designed to be skin moisture resistant, so you can use them without a sleeve. Some are designed to be like this weird speed control variant. Some focus on smoothness. Other Tekkusai releases like the Singularity that I haven't posted or talked about yet, which I will have a video out for that soon. Is designed to be a budget friendly option that can compete with more premium options. And then you have the Phantom. I think the Phantom pretty much sums up exactly what Tekkusai and Glsswrks is doing as a brand. They're trying to innovate, they're pushing boundaries, and they're trying things that never has been seen before. Now, the only thing I will say is kind of ironic about the releases between Tekkusai Glsswrks and other glass companies that make glass pads is that one way or another, whether if another company does it first or Glasswork does it first, these companies all copy each other's flow. And one of the things that I'm going to bring up is the bezeled edges. Like on, let's see if my camera good enough to show you guys what I'm talking about. On the Phantom, you can kind of see the glare, of the bezeled edges, and it's kind of been the new thing for glass mouse pads, I would say, this year. The bezel edges basically allow you to have a more natural feeling when gliding across the pad. It kind of mimics cloth in a way with how natural cloth can feel. And the bezel edges actually do make a slight difference, and it is noticeable. But that's kind of like the one thing I've been noticing ever since it got announced from Tekkusai. I've seen Wallhack and I've seen other brands talk about their bezel edges. It's kind of funny how all of a sudden all these companies are just able to do this one particular thing. I always find it funny. Same thing with the ultra thin design. This is another one of those ultra thin glass mouse pads. It's about the same size as the Superglide 2. My Superglide 2 is put up, so I'm not even gonna pull it out to compare, but I'm almost for certain that it's the same thinness as the Superglide 2, so it's about 1.5, 2.5. So it's a really thin mouse pad. So if you really like really thin glass mouse pads that mimic how a cloth pad would feel, then this is another one of those pads. The dimensions of this pad is 500 by 450, so you are getting a slightly bigger feel, but you know, it's still, you still can fit this on your desk easily. But me personally, I always prefer 500 by 500. But even with it not being exactly 500 by 500, it still is a massive mouse pad. And I mean, normal dimensions for most glass mouse pads or most cloth mouse pads is 490 by 420. So you're still getting a bigger product, and you definitely, I would say, might be getting your money's worth because you're getting a bigger size and a lot of other goodies that other companies don't really provide. Now, the Phantom is a take on the Beast slash Guardian from Tekkusai. The Guardian was a collab with Hitbox Studios, which is like Fresh Reviews, Nacho Customs, and I can't remember the other person, but it's another person that's on the team. And that was just a collab, and it was the same surface as the Beast. The Beast, you know, one of the key things about it was extremely fast. It had this very awkward and scattered surface that wasn't consistent in any way, but somehow provided you with enough feedback and just really fast speed, and just felt like a very unique glass pad at the time it came out. And then they dropped the Guardian, which is just like another variation of it, and it wasn't any different. And then here comes the Phantom. And one of the things I would say Tekkusai noticed with the Beast was that that weird sporadic texture and the ability to play into it more to get more control. He wanted to emphasize that even more with a future glass release, and that's what the Phantom turned out to be. So the Phantom has even more of that crazy texture and sporadic feel over it, but it isn't just like textured in a way that I would say this is future Wija for the Phantom review. I forgot to talk about one of the main talking points, and that was I kind of touched on it when I was talking about the surface and how sporadic it is and crazy it is and whatnot. But I didn't talk about how the one of the main things about this mouse pad is like that surface and that texture. along with applying more pressure into the glass pad itself. It's supposed to give you a more added sense of control. And I would definitely say it's not a gimmick. You can feel it, but you will have to have a really, really heavy grip. Like you gotta be playing like palm claw or like a pure palm grip to like really get that extra control. And then to be honest with you, most glass mouse pads, if you apply pressure, downward pressure, you're going to get more control. So I don't know. I don't want to say it's a gimmick. I could tell I had more control when I applied, when I left clicked and I was tracking and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Put myself in different scenarios. I could tell that I was getting a little bit more control, but for the most part, it felt pretty consistent in terms of being quick and fast. And I feel like I was getting more control just from the skate combination I was using along with the bite from the texture of this mouse pad. But just applying more downward force, I mean, that's a typical standard thing. You're going to get more control because you're applying more downward force. So I wouldn't say it's a gimmick, but it's definitely something that has a lot of questions around it. But overall, the surface feel, the texture is still very unique. And when I say inconsistent, I don't mean like the glass mouse pad is inconsistent. I'm saying that the surface, if I could pull up one of those pictures of people who took a close-up picture of the actual surface, the surface of it doesn't have a consistent pattern, I should say. It's very inconsistent, but it provides you with this ultra fast glide. It's very strange. But yeah, that's just my little 2 cents I want to add in. Anyway, see y'all later. And you can feel it, you can hear it a lot more with a skate like Jade Airs. But if you use something a little bit more silky smooth, kind of like Silver Fox skates, or even the provided Cyclone Pros that they have, you get a more of a silky smooth buttery glide. The Cyclone Pros that they include is a very interesting skate because it is just the standard Cyclones. They just added like all the new standard stuff that every skate is doing. The PTFE, not the PTFE, but the layer of polyurethane or whatever it is. I can't think right now, but you know what I'm talking about. Everything the X-Ray Pad doing with their skates and other companies, that's basically what the Cyclone Pros are. And they do have a slightly different feel than the original Cyclones, and I did do a comparison, but for the most part they feel pretty similar to each other. So I mean, maybe the Cyclones is like a buff in a way, but to me they feel pretty identical to each other. So I mean, you're not really losing or gaining anything by using those Cyclone Pros, using regular Cyclones on the Phantom. But one thing that Tekkusai did say that this pad does mimic a feel of something like the raiden, and it does have that silky smooth glide. It does have slight textural feedback, but like I said, it just depends on the skates that you like using. And for the ones I like using, I do get a lot of that feedback when using this glass pad. Now, if I had to rank this in terms of speed, the Phantom by far is the fastest glass pad that I have used on the market to this date. In my initial review that I was going to do for the Guardian, I was going to talk about how the Guardian to me felt like some kind of weird hybrid pad that was borderline in being on the speed side of like control. Like it was just a weird pad. It was like, I don't know, maybe I had a QC issue, but mine's, it just felt like it was slower than what people was talking about with theirs. I don't know, I just didn't get that same experience that people got with the Guardian that they was talking about, or the Beast that they was talking about. Mine just felt really inconsistent, really odd. So I was like, I don't see what you're talking about. And there was like a lot of debates all over Twitter about this. And to me, I always felt like the Skypad 4 was just a way faster pad, and I felt that way because of the surface of it. Usually most companies, which is really the way it goes in general, when a surface is like ultra smooth, and depending on how they treated it, and depending on what they decide to go with, it can be extremely fast. And for the most part, Skypad has had the fastest mouse pads on the market. So when people were saying that pads like the Beast and the Guardian was the fastest, I was like, I just don't feel like it. Just feel like I have more control. It's a more sense of control with this mouse pad, and the speed just doesn't feel like a traditional speed last pad, that makes sense. Like I'm used to stuff that feel like the Blue Empress and stuff that feel like Skypad and Superglide and things of that nature. So when using this, it was very odd to have some kind of textual feedback, but also have really extreme amounts of speed. But with the Phantom, definitely I think At least on my copy, I think I got a really good copy because the speed stands out. It is a very, very quick pad, but it's like you still can get that sense of control. It don't really have necessarily a floaty feeling, but it does have an adjustment period. So if you are somebody that is new to glass mouse pads, this is one of the ones I would say that you can get and instantly pick up and be nice with it. This is going to take some time for you to actually be able to get used to this pad and be able to use it. It's not one of those super intuitive ones. It can be depending on your level of height mouse control probably, but for the most people who coming from like mud, cloth pads, or like just using cloth pads in general, and this is your first glass pad, you're going to struggle a little bit using this. Your micro adjustments going to feel a lot more crisp and a lot more smooth than what you might be used to. And same thing with like flicks and whatnot. And just to get on the topic of flicks and target switching, when I was doing those, I didn't really, for me personally, didn't really have an issue at all. I had moments where it kind of seemed like I was off target. I overshoot a little bit, but after about a day or two of just grinding Kovacs and just messing around a little bit with it in game, I adjusted to it. Didn't have to adjust my sensitivity or nothing like that. That's one of the last things you want to do, I would say, when using a glass surface. If you already have a certain CM that you're used to, there's nothing wrong with changing if you want to just mess around. But for me, I've always had a better experience just adjusting to the pad using what I know already from whatever sensitivity or CM that I'm using. So that's just me. Overall though, the Phantom has been a very interesting and fun experience. Is it something that I would say will consistently be on my desk? Probably not, because it's just not my type of glass pad I'm looking for right now. I'm in my era where I do like speed, but I'm focusing what I value more over just having the fastest thing on the market. If I want the fastest thing on the market, if I want to mimic that, most of the time I'll just pull out my Shidenkai and put on ultra glides like that I use on my X2H. If I want like an ultra fast experience, you know what I'm saying? But for me, this pad isn't for me. I'm looking for something with a little bit more texture, a little bit more bite in the surface, and that's just what I've been chasing for the last few years, ever since my Shidenkai started to slow down and started to peel and have a lot of issues and sensor issues and stuff now. I just been kind of looking for a glass surface that is as consistent, as fun as that mouse pad, and for me this came close, really close. It's a really awesome mouse pad, but it just isn't necessarily for me. But if you do have the opportunity to try the Phantom, if they ever do re-release it, or you buying one second hand, this is definitely worth the money. Definitely worth every dime that I spent. You get a cleaning cloth, which is this right here. It has the Phantom branding on it, and then you also get a pack of Cyclone Pros, and you get the mouse pad, and it's really cool unboxing experience. So overall, it was a very fun experience, very cool mouse pad. And I know Tekkusai is supposed to be dropping the Tekkusai name and focus on other products, and for this to be his last product potentially, this definitely was a very banger, very good glass mouse pad. Definitely in the future, I wish I could have got my hands on the Zang. I think maybe the Zang might have been what I'm looking for, but if I can get my hands on it, I'll do a review for it. But definitely this glass mouse pad was a very fun experience, and definitely can't wait to see what Glsswrks has in store for us soon. I really haven't been too excited about glass surfaces or anything glass related. This was like the only thing I was really looking forward to, and other than like the wall hack control glass mouse pad, supposed to have a lot of texture and feature a lot of the bezels and stuff I'm talking about in this video. Other than that, I really ain't excited about glass. So hopefully Glsswrks drop something else, or wall hacks drop something, or maybe Pulsar drop something out of the water. I know Lambs who got a glass pad cooking up. We're just gonna see what happens. But overall, for the most part, like I said, definitely worth the money. Shipping didn't take too long, but usually when you're buying these type of glass mouse pads, they're on pre-order. You have to put your order in, and you have to wait a few months or so, wait a couple weeks or so before you can actually get your glass mouse pad. So that is the one thing I would say that sucks about these type of special releases, especially with this being a collab with Gale and Tekkusai. Gale's like aimer, like one of the rawest Overwatch hit scan players. to ever play that game. So this was a pretty cool collab with them overall. But you know, enough of me talking. You know, I've been talking for a lot. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, if you have this pad or if you've been thinking about it, you know, let me know in the comments what you think about it. Like I said, it's a pretty solid glass mouse pad, pretty solid. Definitely one of the ones I can see a lot of people gravitating towards if they can get their hands on it, much like the Guardian and the Beast. But for me, definitely this one felt a lot better than the Guardian of the Beast for me. So other than that, it's been your boy Wija, and I'm out, man.